Hi, this is Charlie with Boxing Focus, and the fourth attempt at this video. Keep on making big cock-ups, let's try not to. So, looking ahead to this weekend's fights, 3 fights that I think I'll enjoy all 3 of them for different reasons. So, I'm going to start with one of my favourite active fighters at the moment, one of my favourite, I don't want to call him a prospect, I don't think he's a prospect anymore, that's Keith Thurman. Very explosive, powerful puncher. He's like a miniature David Hay. That's how I like to think of him, and not just because of the cornrows. Just the way he moves, the way that he throws his right hand, the way he can put his punches together. He's got great feet. He's got great hand speed. He's very athletic. He's the complete package, just like David Hay is at cruiserweight, moonlighting at heavyweight. So is Keith Thurman down at welter. He's facing Leonard Bundu, who notably recently has beaten a couple of British fighters in Frankie Gavin and Lee Purdy. Bundu's 40 years old. He's got 11 knockouts and 33 victories. Basically, he's at the wrong, unless he's a Bernard Hopkins, which I don't think he is. He's at the wrong end of his physical career. I see Thurman just taking it to him, being unafraid of Bundy's punching power or lack thereof, and probably taking him out in the middle rounds. Because Bundy, as good as he is, hasn't faced that many decent fighters. Thurman's been stepping it up recently and generally looked very, very impressive, so I expect more of the same. Moving on, we have before we can move on to Khan Alexander, we have Timothy Bradley and Diego Chavez. So I've warmed up to Tim Bradley. I've always thought a lot of his technical ability and his boxing skills. Not always thought so much of the way he's conducted himself, which might be a bit overly harsh, but just I didn't like the way he was a cocky, arrogant fool after he defeated Manny Pacquiao. Much more of a fan of the way he's been talking after losing to Pacquiao in the rematch. Yeah, Bradley's a volume puncher, but a very good technical boxer at the same time. He combines the two quite well. I expect him to just to overwhelm Chavez, who's a strong, tough fighter, but doesn't throw enough volume. Reasonably good defensively. I expect him to be making Bradley work hard to land punches, but Bradley's just going to steal almost every round on work rate, in my opinion. Bradley's not the biggest puncher unless he sits down on his shots, but when he's sitting down on his shots, he seems to be susceptible to being dragged into a bit of a war. And I think Bradley and his trainer will have decided that the war against Provodnikov and the wars against Pacquiao, not really wars against Pacquiao, but tough fights against Pacquiao, were perhaps a bit more than is good for Bradley's health, and they'll be looking for a more technically accomplished performance, and I think they're going to deliver one. Chavez, unfortunately, seems to have become a bit of a feeder for Top Rank and keep on feeding him to the opponents, and I think he's been fed to Bradley here as a comeback victory from the Pacquiao defeat. Which leaves us with Amir Khan versus Devon Alexander. I'm a big believer in talent levels. I think Keith Thurman, for example, is really talented, and plus he's got the technical side of his game nailed down, puts it all together. I think that Chris Eubank Jr. is incredibly talented, but is missing the technical side of his game at the moment. Amir Khan, technically really talented, physically really talented, but mentally just not there in the boxing ring. He's just never displayed that kind of mental toughness, that kind of boxer's mindset where under fire he makes the right decisions. He's just never once really shown that for me. Basically, he operates in 2 modes. He's either fearlessly attacking, or he's backpedaling, turtling up as if his own shadow is about to knock him over, and he just switches between the two whenever he's getting punched. And it's just impossible to see him ever overcoming this. He just doesn't seem to have changed under Virgil Hunter, in my opinion. Still making the same mistakes, still doing the same things wrong. I think you saw that against Collazo, even though he dominated on the scorecards against Collazo. I thought he didn't look good at all, which is kind of a contradictory way of putting it. Every time Collazo opened up, Khan was, he looked like he was in trouble. And I don't think it's because Khan's chinning. I think Khan's chin being made of glass is a bit of a myth. I mean, you look, alright, he was badly hurt by Danny Garcia, but then he withstood an absolute firestorm to see that. For the next couple of minutes anyway, to survive a little bit. I mean, you look at the shots he took against Maidana. I mean, again, he showed resilience against Collazo, even if he looked. I mean, it's like he looks mentally shaken rather than physically shaken often when he's getting hit. And you see it time and time again in his career, all the way back to when he was fighting domestic fighters. So the domestic fighter would come over with a big-ish punch, and Khan would seem to be rocking all over the place. And I don't think it's because he's badly hurt. I just don't think he knows how to deal with it, and I don't think he ever will. Boxers, a lot of boxers, they're very good at having. They have a good poker face. They get hit with a big shot, and then they instinctively don't move, or they instinctively grab hold. They have that natural reaction to either pretend that they've not been hurt, so your opponent doesn't jump on you, or to do the right thing to prevent your opponent jumping on you. And Khan doesn't seem to be able to do either. He basically gets hit with something, he goes into this guy, oh shit. Kind of like a lay person would almost, but this guy's an experienced professional boxer. But to his advantage, he has this tremendous physical talent, this absolute lightning hand speed, this brilliant combination punching, great flurries, very fast on his feet, very very coordinated and aggressive when he's throwing shots, and he overwhelms fighters with it. And if they don't know how to deal with it, if they don't know how to, if they don't have the punch to fight him off, like a Paulie Malignaggi, for example, couldn't do it, then they just get shredded by his blazing hand speed. Unfortunately, for Devon Alexander, I don't think he's got that kind of grit your teeth, throw back big shots mentality that he needs to force Khan into that turtle shell of his and be able to take rounds. I see Khan winning a decision because I just don't think Devon Alexander's a big enough puncher. If you look at Devon Alexander's record, he's lost to Sean Porter and Bradley, who both in their own ways are volume punchers. Devon Alexander's a very good technical boxer. He's very athletic. He's very coordinated, which makes him very good against your Lucas Matises, your Marcus Maidanas, the guys who aren't so quick, who are looking to throw big shots and hurt you and knock you out. Alexander's got the skills to keep those, to make those guys miss, to keep them at bay, and he's got the toughness to absorb it and get his own work off. But when someone's coming at him extremely aggressively, throwing a large volume of punches, I don't think he's got the tools to deal with that and deal with it effectively enough to win the round. And I don't think he's got the power to hurt Khan sufficiently to stop him, because with Amir Khan we see, if he doesn't get stopped, he wins. That's going to be Amir Khan for the rest of his career pretty much, unless perhaps he fights Floyd Mayweather. Because I don't think Mayweather would stop him, but I think Mayweather would somehow take that away, that aggressive combination punching away from Amir Khan. Anyway, let me know if you agree, who you want to win, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate comments and feedback. This is Charlie with Boxing Focus. Enjoy the fights.